how confident you are and how inconfident, all of that. So that you can literally use. I'm just telling you tools to assess how good you are with your preparation. Okay. Second thing, definitely now, if you have maybe another 10 days or 12 days, you'll be able to go through the entire syllabus. Okay. Even if you're completing, let's say, two chapters in one day, okay, you are very uh, in a good sailboat to go through. Okay. Then we have, there's something which I really want to tell students. Uh, the book, okay, there is something you must have seen. There are a lot of tables in the chapter. There are a lot of diagrams in the chapter. We tend to ignore them. Okay, we just neglect them. We have a look at it. We don't read them thoroughly. We know that the same information which is given in the text. But let me tell you, those diagrams are way more important than even the text. Okay, make sure that you read through the information given below the diagram. Okay, there are some hidden facts there. Please go through them. Okay, tables for sure. Sometimes you will be seeing that in the past papers also. You must have seen direct table as such they give it in the examination. So that makes tables very important. Okay, once or twice I think tables might be asked in the papers. Okay, labelings, we know that labelings do come. Systems, all systems, any system can come for labeling. So be prepared, well prepared with your labelings. Okay, there's a document which I wanted to quickly show you. Let me present my screen. I'm not sure if you have seen this document lately. Just wait a minute. Okay, it's there in I think some website which was shared yesterday also. I've seen it. Okay, I too had this document long before with me. So this document is called biology revision sheet. Okay, it just have pictures. All right, with the places where you can literally practice the labelings. Okay, and the answers are given there. So even if you're not into writing, don't want to waste time writing, just go through these pictures at the bottom. So these are like the answers. Okay, answers to all the labelings. See, okay, it covers almost the entire part of your bio syllabus. Everything is there. Okay, so this is one quick thing, probably 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hour. You can give to this document, which will help you that okay, fine. Now I know the labelings nicely. Okay, so this is one document I wanted to show you. Nice. For quick revisions, I'm showing you this. Okay. Then, yeah, there are a lot of activities and experiments in the entire book. Okay. If you have not gone through them, please go through them because there are questions from the activities and the experiments also. I'm not saying that activities and experiments are only meant for paper six. No, the questions come in your paper two as well, paper four as well. Please make sure that you go through these. Yeah, definitely, I'll share this document with you. I'll share it, download and post it here. Okay. So there's a website. Let me show you that website only. They've got very good resources. Just recently, I think yesterday, somebody shared, if I'm not wrong, in that CambiHub only. Okay, this is the website. I'll share this link right away with you. Yeah, even I picked up this document. I had it beforehand, of course, but I picked it up. I located this here as well. Okay, in this website. So I'm just going to share this with you. So you will find this document in this website also. This has resources, a lot of other resources. Hey, there are a lot of websites available. Okay, in fact, CambiHub also, you will find lot many times people sharing links, people sharing a lot of whatever students are encountering, they just kind of help each other out and they share. Okay, and of course, we as teachers also, we are the first ones to pick things up, from the group. Okay, yeah. Yeah, next thing I wanted to talk about was yeah, the activities and experiments I told you. So paper two, paper four, paper six. For all three papers, these are required. Okay. Please make sure that you're very go through with your food tests. Okay, food tests you will be getting at least for 6 marks in paper six, at least for 2 marks in paper two, maybe paper one or two. Okay. And sometimes, very rare, it comes in your paper four also. Okay. Please make sure don't lose these marks. Food test is something that you should not. This will be very childish for you not to know food test when you know they are coming for sure. Okay. And there are documents for paper six separately. Okay, I will share those documents if you wish to. I have few filtered out. So those documents are very good for quick paper six revisions. Yeah. Okay. Then very important. I want to talk about this now. Okay. Let me just show my screen again. I want to talk about the command words because this is where the students are still going wrong. Okay, which these mistakes you should not be making now at this point of stage. With 2 years of training into IGCSE, you should not be making these mistakes. So, what are these command words? Anyone who want to unmute and tell me what are these command words? Pranay, can they unmute themselves?
Yes, ma'am. The permission is there with them.
Okay, anybody
Uh,
who wants to unmute and tell
are
me
they
what
the
command words are?
keywords?
No, not at all. Sorry, not at all. They are not the keywords. I want to talk about keywords also lately.
Command
They are
words
not the
are the words in the question that we have to look at and understand the way how to write the answer.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Very well described, my dear. Command words definitely are the words which we have to read first carefully. We ignore, we just don't look at these words. We look at the question, we don't look at the command word. I'll give you a very nice example. Recently, I'm telling you, just a day before, yesterday only, I was checking papers. Okay, listen carefully now, okay? What the question was that there was a graph there. If you want, I can show you also. I must be having that paper also. So there was a graph, okay? Now in that graph, there was, I think that was the pulse rate, okay, on the y-axis, and on the x-axis was the, um, it was the time, something like that, okay? X-axis was the time, and on the y-axis was the pulse rate, okay? So it was a graph something like this, yeah, something like this, a steep rise and then comes down, something like that. Okay, here was the pulse rate. You understand pulse rate, right? So how fast your heart is beating, and there was something like the time was there. Okay, so 0 to some minutes were there. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Now the first question was very nicely written. The question was use data in the graph so and so. Okay, use data in the graph to describe what's happening in the graph. Okay, so use data, okay, and describe. That was the first question. Okay. The second question was explain. Explain the changes happening in the data. Explain the changes happening in the data from, I think, 1 minute to 2 minutes, something like that. Okay. Very nicely. It's given there. Yep. Now you tell me when it comes to using data and describing data, it was for about, I think, 4 marks or something. What will you write here? Any ideas? I want some answers there. Can you unmute and mention anybody?
Maybe just describing what is happening in the graph.
Okay, describing what's happening in the graph, but it says use data as well. What is describing? Okay, now understand. Okay, I'm just going to explain it to you. What is describing? Okay, if you can just have make a note of the same. Describing is something when we are just mentioning where we're just mentioning that the graph. How does the graph look like? What is the appearance of the graph, right? So we have a steep rise. I can see that steep rise. Then I have a little constant curve. Okay, I have a curve which is a little constant, okay, towards the middle, and then I have a steep decline also. Yes, I can see all of this in the graph. So 3 pointers are done. Okay, my fourth pointer is going to be using that data. Now, how do I use the data? Understand. Whenever data is asked, they are always asking to mention at least three things here. What are those three things? First, they will be interested, the chemistry examiners are interested in knowing the minimum value. You understand? Where the graph has the minimum value. Spot that. Okay, write the value, whatever that value is. Please write the units. Now, here the units were BPM, beats per minute. Okay, if you are not writing the units, my dear, you will not get this 1 mark for describing or not describing using the data. Okay, you must be mentioning the value. No units, I tell you, bache, a number without unit is no number. Understood? That unit has to be there. Okay. And you can also write the maximum value. Okay. And you can also write if there is something that you have seen. Okay, difference also you can write. You get marks for difference between these two also. Okay, it will, I think it will be taking another 30 seconds for you, not 30, maybe 5 to 10 seconds to use your calculator and, find out the difference. But if you write difference, examiner is super happy that, okay, fine, this child has written minimum, maximum, and the difference in the two values. Okay, fine. So these are the three things whenever they are asking. Sometimes students are like, oh my God, it's a big graph. So many values. What should I write and what should I not write? Don't get confused. Write the minimum, write the max, write the difference. And if there is something very starkingly visible in the graph, let's say a peak, why not? Let's say, the graph is going something like this and there's a shoot. Why don't just mention where is this peak from? Okay, go down to the x-axis and look where is this peak coming. Mention these values, this value and this value. Understood? No? Right? So never ever explain. Don't even think of explaining when they are asking for describing. Please don't do that. Okay? Use your data because your data, the numbers, the numbers with the units carry marks there. Okay? All right. Now let me tell you what happened. Few students wrote whatever was required in this question in the explanation question, but they wrote in the first part. Now those students got a zero here because it was not asked. Explanation was and a zero here as well. This question also was somewhere around 3 or 4 marks. Got it here? So now your entire explanation part comes in the part B because it's explained. Understood, no? So please ensure, see what the command words are. Explanation could be anything. Explanation could be, okay, fine, you're exercising, the muscle is contracting, oxygen is required. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Now I talk about the keywords. Somebody mentioned keywords now, right? People wrote answers like, okay, the person is exercising and the cells are respiring. Let me tell you, if you are writing respiring, okay, it won't be considered. Let me tell you why. Because respiration happens in two ways. One is aerobic and other is anaerobic. You know this, right? So if it's anaerobic and aerobic and you are mentioning only respiring, how are you concentrating on the fact of oxygen? The blood is pumping because oxygenated blood has to reach the cells. And let me tell you, in the MS, okay, very clearly, whenever there is respiration, they mention with underline there. Is it an aerobic or an anaerobic? So make sure if you're writing anything regarding respiration, please mention it as aerobic or anaerobic, or you will lose marks. Okay. So these are little things I'm telling you. The answer will be perfect. Everything will be perfect. But you will lose marks here because then this becomes very vague. The examiner thinks that, okay, fine, this candidate doesn't know. Respiration could be anaerobic as well. How is it linked to oxygen anyways? Understood? Yeah. All right. Any questions so far, my dear? You can please,
I have a question.
yeah, go
Every
ahead.
time, whenever they ask the command word suggest, that's where I lose because I don't
I
get
was coming to.
ideas. I don't get any ideas.
True, true. I was coming to that. I was about to come to that, but yeah, that was my next part. All right. So the command words, the next command words I want to talk about is suggest, okay, list, okay, state, define. All right. And there's something called name. Name is fine. Name you understand. It's only asking you the name, right? Okay. Suggest now. All right. I always tell students whenever it is a suggest thing, no, you will get the marks because suggestions can be they are not facts. Understand, suggestions are not facts. They are not facts. They are just suggestions. And they are vague. No doubt they are vague, but they are correct. Okay. See, until and unless, let me just say that probably there's some random question where is about they're asking you suggestion on a topic, let's say on eutrophication, let's say. Okay. So they're asking you that suggest a way uh, eutrophication can be avoided, you know, or can be prevented, the best word, right? So now if you are writing a suggestion which is nowhere near to the fertilizations or the manure or the soil or the ecosystem or the habitat, and you're writing a suggestion which is very different. You're talking something about oxygenated blood or let's say respiration, then you won't get marks. Okay, even if your suggestion is somewhere in the context, they will give you marks. Okay, and even the MS says any valid point for the examiner, it is always written any valid point be marked, be awarded. Okay, suggestion questions you should never. Oh, that's a blunder if you do. If you leave the suggestion questions unattempted, that's a blunder you're doing. Okay, never do that. Write whatever comes to your mind. Don't spend much time on suggestion questions, please. Write whatever comes immediately to your mind and write and just move ahead. You will get the mark. Don't worry. And this is usually, I think, one odd question where the suggestion will be there. Most of the times, I found suggestion questions in the paper six, okay, but not in the structure. Structure is very rare. Understood? Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, there is a 6 mark investigation question at the end of paper 6, alternative to practical. Can you
Hmm.
give us any tips how to answer that and get full marks?
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Definitely, I'll take that up. Okay, can you wait for a while? I'll finish this first. Okay,
Yes,
list.
ma'am.
Now, what is list? I hope you know the priority, how the Cambridge examiners are giving you marks on priority in the list. Okay, so if there is something regarding list, bache, then they will get marks if you're writing correct answer here. Let's say this question is of 2 marks. Okay. Now, if you have written the correct answer somewhere here in point 3 and point 4, but your answer point 1 and point 2 are incorrect, you won't get any marks. It will be zero for you. Okay. Cambridge works on priority. Priority as in they expect the student to know what is the most important point to be written here. So write it at the point 1, then point 2. If you're writing the correct answer very late in your answer, it has lost its relevance. Okay, that's for the priority rule in a list, something like that. Okay, so make sure this is one another tip I'm giving you guys. Okay, if you feel that your point 1 and point 2 is incorrect, say understand. If it's incorrect, you won't write it, right?
Ex-
You feel it's correct, that is why you're writing it. Okay,
Excuse me.
yeah.
Ma'am,
See, when I feel it correct, every time I check with the MS and ATP, the always my answers are just very different from what the suggest answers are in the MS.
I'm telling you, no, don't go by the MS. You will see the right column on the MS Vache. There are two columns, okay, three basically. Last column, if you see, it will be written any valid point. Okay, you leave it to the examiner. I just tell you, please don't go out of the context. Okay, if they're talking about some kind of an experiment or an investigation suggestion, then please don't go out of the box and use unnecessarily. Don't bring gas in just when there's no gas around. You understand? So think. Okay, fine. Anything in the suggestion which you think could be a suggestion, just give your suggestion. Nobody is judging you on your suggestions. It's just a suggestion. You understood?
Yes.
ma'am,
Yeah,
in
don't
the
bother
list
that much.
question,
Don't bother about suggestion. I'm telling you, don't bother about suggestion, bache. Okay? It hardly will be one marker there. You do not fret on it. Okay? All right.
ma'am, in the list question, writing only one word is okay or it has to be full sentence?
No, no, no. List is usually one word, only one word. See, okay, let's say that list the factors responsible for eutrophication. Maybe if that's a question, then you can write the factors in phrases also. That's fine. Okay, you can use more than one word. There's no rigid rule here, Bache. That's completely your take. Okay. All right. What does state mean now? State means that you have to just state it, not explain it. Okay. And state questions are not more than 2 marks. Okay. Don't start explaining. No. If they are asking you aerobic respiration, just say aerobic respiration is use of oxygen to burn glucose to release energy. That's it. How does it happen? Where does it happen? In the mitochondria? No need. Just state it straightforward. Okay. Define. So, bache, definitions are all there in your book. Okay. So, define is very rare. I have seen only definition coming for species. Okay. Binomial nomenclature. I have not seen definitions coming for many other things. Not there. Okay. All
Ma'am,
right.
what do we have to write when the command word is justify?
Oh, justify. Okay. Justify, you will have to use the data there to provide the evidence. Okay. So there will always be a data on the top. You understand?
Yes.
Use that data as an evidence. Use those data pointers there. Okay. Or maybe the trend that you're seeing in the data to justify whatever you're writing and why you're writing. Okay, as it is visible in the table above or as it is mentioned in the data above, like that. Justify, obviously you have to justify your answer, right, using some evidence. They will not say you use evidence. No, they'll ask you to justify. Understood? No.
But
Now,
then
Yes.
sometimes they ask 8 mark questions for discuss. What should you do if they ask discuss?
discuss. Good. Discuss is very rare though. Okay, discuss will be bache that you are discuss, or can you tell me what will come and discuss? Discuss is basically usually the pros and the cons. Understood. Advantages and the disadvantages. Usually, you must have seen it in ecological questions.
But
Nowhere
then,
else.
but then the
See, you
thing,
understand. They will never ask you. The question will never be okay. Fine. Discuss how digestion of food happens. No.
but
Understand.
sometimes if I want to get points for pros and cons, I get only 3 or 4. Then the rest 5 or 6 I don't get, and when I see,
Okay. Let me tell you one more thing. Okay, one more thing. Good that we're discussing about it. Always, okay, even in the discuss question also, okay, or let's say other questions also, well, sometimes it is very clearly specified that please write the benefits and the demerits or advantages or the disadvantages, causes and the effects, blah, 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 okay. Please make sure if it is advantages, write this word there, advantages. Write this word, no. Distribute your answer, distribute your space, okay, in two sections. First advantages, then disadvantages. Then look into the marks. How many marks? Is it 4 or is it 6 or is it 8? This will tell you what is expected out of you. 8 will be too much, okay? Let's say 4. So that means two advantages they expect from you and two disadvantages they expect from you. Now understand one thing. Most of the students do not write this. They directly start with the writing, and that too in a paragraph form. Just imagine. Okay, where the examiner doesn't really understand you talking about the advantage or the disadvantage. What are you trying to tell? As an examiner, I know it's an advantage that you're talking about, but have you mentioned it anywhere? There you lose
Exactly,
marks,
ma'am.
my dear. Okay, and advantages, disadvantages, similarities and differences. Okay, write similarities on the top. Why don't you write it? This looks like this. What looks like what? It looks like that. What is it? What is that? We don't know. As an examiner, I don't know. Please, sorry. Mention it, write it. Okay? These are little things, but you make these mistakes because you know the answer, and but it's very important how you present your answer. Got it? Okay, discuss, but I told you it's basically your pros and cons. Whenever you're discussing a topic, you're just discussing your pros and cons. Okay? All right?
Ma'am,
Okay. Yes, tell me.
for a 4 mark or a 5 mark question, it is
Hmm.
mentioned in the mark scheme any 6 points are taken. So is it in order that examiner looks at, or in any order if the answer is written, the marks are given?
Order will only be seen in case of a sequence. Like we have this cholera happening, no, cholera toxin is coming, and you know that water potential changes, chloride ions coming to the lumen. Now that is a sequence. Or let's say with genetic engineering for that sake, that is a sequence. Or let's say DNA replication, that's a sequence. Mitosis is a sequence. Until unless it's a sequence, nobody looks into the order, my dear. No one. Okay, eutrophication is a sequence. You can't just write that, okay, fine. uh, I mean, you just can't go like that. Understood? No. So any valid points, as in if there are, let's say it's a 5 marker and there are 6 pointers given in the marking scheme, so any 5, okay, if there are there, then definitely yes, you will be marked on any 5.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you, ma'am.
Some students are also in the habit of writing more points than required. Don't do that, please. You're wasting on time. Because Cambridge examiner will look into the priority first. Point one, point two, point three, point four. He will, if he gets the right pointers on the top, he is not even interested in reading your point five or point six. You're wasting your time and energy. Do not write.
Miss, about
If you
that,
Ma'am,
feel
should
you
we
are correct,
underline?
no need to underline. Why waste time? No,
Miss, and when they say
no
like
need to
when they say
underline.
like
Yes, tell
plan,
me.
when they say plan an investigation, and then you have so many ideas that you don't know what to write, what should you do about that?
Yeah, you can please work on only one idea there. So there's always a blank page which is given somewhere around the investigation question. Use that blank page to first frame your investigation. Don't start right away. Okay? Plan your investigation question should take at least 10 minutes of yours. Okay? Don't hush, don't
Okay,
rush. I'm
thank you.
telling you, for your plan your investigation. I to always suggest my students do plan your investigation in the first place. Open your ATP question, go to the last page, do your investigation questions because your mind is fresh. Okay? Finish
Thank
that
you.
up. Then move to the graph question.
Ma'am,
Plot
what
the graph.
about the redrawing question? Sorry to interrupt. How do we
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
the redrawing?
So the drawing thing, yeah, yeah, redrawing, you're saying it's basically drawing whatever is given to you. Always remember there are this sold, okay? We always remember sold while doing it, okay? Now what is sold? L is making the image at least two times larger. I know, never see, you cannot calculate the times there. I always tell the students that whatever space you have, no, whatever space you have to utilize 75% of the space. If you're not utilizing 75%, that means you're wrong there. You're losing on that one mark there. Okay. Okay. Detailing. Now, what is detailing? Now, let me give you example of detailing now. Let's say we have a STEM section. I'm just making, let's say we have a STEM section. Okay. In the STEM section, there are around, let's say, these many vascular bundles. Okay. Count them. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, when I am drawing it in my given space, which is 75% uh, space I'm using, I have to draw 8 vascular bundles. If I don't draw these, I don't count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and draw 8, I am losing on this one mark for the detailing. You understand detailing? Detailing is, are you looking in? Okay, let me just change it. Let me say that it is basically they have shown you some kind of infold. Okay, let's say there is some kind of infolding that they are showing. This kind of a thing. Okay, am I making these infolds? How many infolds are there? One, two, three, four, five, six. I need to make at least when I'm making, I need to make 6 infolds. I cannot make 4, I cannot make 5. Examiner, the first point it will check will be the detail. Have you followed the detail? Have you made 6 infolds there? Understood, no? Okay.
Yes.
Outline. And look at the outline thing. Outline should not be broken. This is bad. This should not be there. I'm losing my one mark here. This is bad. I'm losing my one mark there. Okay. No broken lines. The outline has to be very clean. Okay, you understand? I'll just quickly show you how students make it, and you are not supposed to do the same way. You know how the students, the underconfident ones, okay? So they draw like this. You lose your one mark there and then. You won't be getting your mark. Understood? So that is not
Yes.
how you draw. You draw in one flow. Don't be scared. Let me tell you, in biology, nobody is marking you on your drawing skills. Nobody. They are marking you on these 4 pointers. And usually you will see the drawing question is only for 4 marks. Okay, what is this S now? Okay, S, okay, this is outline. This is, I'm forgetting what is this S. Students, do you remember what is S? Anyone
Scale.
who remembers what? Sorry?
Scale.
No, no, no. Scale and all is very rare that they ask. No, it's not scale. It's something different. It doesn't come in my mind. Hmm?
Size? Is it
Oh,
size?
yeah, size maybe. And then L. Right, right. It could be a size. Yeah, the size has to be larger. L was definitely then label. Okay. Label as in don't label if they have not asked for it. Please do not
Ma'am,
label.
isn't it shading?
Oh, right, Kasa. Thank you. Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, see, this is what happens. So shading, yes, yes, yes. Thank you for that. No shading is allowed. Okay, even if whatever tempted you are. Okay, for all the artistic people. Okay, I'm telling you, do not be tempted to shade. Please do not shade. Okay, let's say I'll just give you one example. Let's say there was a tomato which came in examination to be made, okay? A tomato. That was about, I think, 5 years back or something. Okay. So it was something like this in the center, and there were seeds. Okay. This was what was required to be made, nothing more or less. Yep. But students said, oh my God, was such a simple diagram. Not possible. Not possible. They will give us 4 marks for the simple diagram. You know what they did? They literally filled this because this was a little darker in the diagram. Okay. And some students literally shaded here also. I don't know why. Maybe there was this light and dark contrast in the picture. That's why. So you have lost your 1 mark there. Yeah, shading. So S is no shading. O is outline has to be very clean and clear, no breaking lines there. L is going to be the image has to be larger. And remember, if there is a label being asked, please label it. If it is not asked, please don't label. You will lose your mark there. I am so tempted to label this as seed, but I am not asked to. I will not because I will lose 1 mark there. Understood? No? Fine. And
Ma'am,
yes, tell me.
I have another question. So sometimes when we have to like replicate what we see in the picture and draw it like larger, I
Mhm.
feel like sometimes I go like out of the margins and stuff. So
No,
like,
no, 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 no. You don't have to go outside the margin. I told you 75% of the open area, whatever that is available to you. Okay. So let me say that this is the area which is available to me. Okay. This is the area which is available to me. Margins will always be at the end of the paper. Okay. So if I show you guys, yeah, let me show you. So the margin will be somewhere here. Okay. Let's say here is where the paper is finishing up. Yeah. This is the A4 paper I'm talking about. Let's say this. You will always be, bache, in the black, very clear black. It's marked here, this way. Yeah. Here also this way. Yeah. Anything and everything which is beyond this, like inside of this, is considered. Okay. Inside of, even here also. Even if here you write, you draw, it will be considered. But the moment you come out from the margin, it won't be considered. And I'm sure, bache, there's enough space provided. You need not touch the margins at all. No, no point, no need. Why are you wasting time and energy? Just make which is the minimum requirement, that is 75% of the area just for. Basically, as a person, as a student, you should be able to see, is my picture bigger than the one given on the top? If it seems bigger, then it's perfectly fine. Got it? And you can always use those pointers, like how much space you're going to occupy. Is it a circle that you have to draw? Is it a rectangle or is it a triangle that you have to draw? Just mark your pointers, no? This is where I'm going to draw my diagram.
Ma'am,
Yes.
so like in the draft questions in the ATP paper at the very
Hmm.
end, are we supposed to join all the points, or we can just draw a line of best fits passing through like close to all the points in the graph questions, specifically in ATP
Oh,
paper?
yes. You don't have to plot through the all the points until asked. No, no, wait. See, first thing, if there is a line graph, first you see if they've asked for a line graph. This also I want to talk about, and a bar chart. Okay. Most of the times I have seen a bar chart is asked, which is very simple, of course. But the students are making line graph. Don't do this mistake. Okay. And there are possibilities that in a graph you may be asked to make more than one. You understood? No? There are chances. Don't think that only one line graph will come. There are chances, especially if you have seen the osmosis questions wherein there's a loss of mass. You will find questions like these where your x-axis is literally this. This is your x-axis. Okay, and here the values go in negative. Here are the values are in positive. Okay, so you can expect graphs like these also. You'll have to make these graphs like that. Okay, and maybe there's more than one. Maybe there are two.
Ma'am, I think he was asking about the
I'm
best
I'm,
fit
I'm
line.
coming to them. I'm coming to
Yeah,
that
okay,
point. Yeah.
okay.
Until and unless it is asked that you have to make a line of best fit. Okay. Line of best fit, if they're asking, then you have to find those 3 pointers which lie in the same plane. Those 3 data points which lie in the same plane, and the rest you can just ignore. Whatever lying around these 3 points, just ignore. Take a ruler and mark a line crossing through these three. Sorry. I'm not using a ruler here. So just mark a line which is crossing through these three data points with a ruler, please. Okay, dear? Yeah, that is the line of best fit. But if it is not asked for, if it is not asked for, guys, then please understand that you have to make sure that you touch all the data points. Please. Okay. So starting from the first value, let's me say that this was the first value. How do you figure out your first value, but you figure out from your the axis which is down there, the x-axis. Okay, so what I plotted here was this was the first plot, this was the second, maybe this was the third, this was the fourth. Okay, maybe this looks like the third. Okay, so take a ruler, please use a ruler. Okay, use a ruler. Yeah, this was the fourth, this was the fifth, this was the sixth. This is how my line graph will look like. Understood? Okay, and sometimes you will also see a word using which is this word curve. Okay, make a line graph with the best curve, something kind of a that kind of a thing. A curve mention is there. Now, if there is a curve mention there, then please ensure that you don't use these vertices, don't use these corners. Make sure they just show a very simple curve. But curve is always asked when your data points are very close to each other. As in, if this is you know, so the data points look something like very close to each other there. You know, so it's like I can mark a line here, or what I can use is I can just not use a ruler, sorry, and just mark a join it and then just give it a curve here like that. Okay, whenever there's a mention of a curve, but in your question, do not use a ruler, that is it. But if there's no mention of a curve, please use a ruler, you have marks for that. Okay, uh, plotted graph without a ruler does not fetch you marks, because there's a full possibility of your line, whatever line you're plotting, will go somewhere away from the data point. Okay, and one more suggestion, now that we're talking about the graph quickly, one more suggestion I always give to my students: if you can, if your time permits, when your plotting is done, okay, when your plotting is done, make sure you take the pencil, okay, and you just mark a circle around your data points. Please mark a circle around your data points. Because what happens is your line and your data point just merges. It's not visible. Not your fault, but it's not visible. Okay. For quick assessment of your data points, please just encircle them. Okay. Or if you don't like circling them, just mark a cross here. But I don't suggest cross. Do not use cross.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Cross, yeah, cross you should use, let me just finish. Cross you should use if you have two plots in the same graph. Okay, if you have two plots, then here definitely all the data points you can use a, don't mark circle, just use cross. Okay, and then you can always provide a key. Okay, this one and this. You can always provide a key there. Always the graphs which have more than one graph, line graph, please use a key because you cannot use colors. Okay, all right. Yes,
Excuse
ask
me,
your
ma'am.
question quickly. Tell me.
If you're drawing a curve, do you start from the 0, comma 0?
Okay. See, there's no, it's not a, see, always understand, depends on what your values are. It's not always that your values start from zero. Don't start from zero until and unless the table has a value which starts from zero. Okay, let me just explain this nicely to you.
Ma'am, what is the concept of drawing a kink alongside the graph line when the points don't begin from a zero?
Yeah, I'm just coming to that point. Please listen, okay? Please listen to this now. You have these columns, okay? You have some values there, you have headings and all. Please mention headings. Okay, I want to talk about even how to make a table, but still. So here, if your one of the variables, okay, has a data value which is zero, okay, and against zero there is a value, let's say it is 12. Okay, then of course, then it is proceeding to 2, let's say 4, let's say here again 3, maybe whatever. Okay, so in this case now, you look here, look at the columns. Okay, if any of your columns have a mention of a zero and you have a value against zero, my dear, then definitely yes, you can include zero in your graph. Understood? on either axis. I'm telling you on either on y or either on x. Then your graph definitely can start from zero. But if it is no mention, but if the zero is not at all anywhere, you can see zero. If it's starting from one or whatever, then please start from one. Don't use it zero. No, don't reach out to zero. Why do you want to reach out to zero? Just start from one. This is one. You got it? Or one must be here, whatever that is. Don't extend till your zero line. No point. Until and unless you see zero somewhere in the data table. Got it? Is it clear?
So,
Miss,
ma'am,
why?
let's say if there's a graph where it doesn't start with the origin, but there's just a normal line. Do we need to extend the graph backwards to the origin or to the x-axis?
No. That is what I'm saying. No, not you don't really need to do that. Understand one thing, Bachi. Please understand the graph that you are plotting is something that you're plotting against these data points. If your graph is very much demonstrating or illustrating these data points, nobody is going to look into if you've extrapolated it to zero or not. Okay? Let me tell you as an examiner, as a bio examiner, let me tell you, I am only interested to see if you have plotted this correctly on the graph and this correctly on the graph. Is that plot correct there? Is the scale used nicely? Is the scale that you have used, it has equal, partitions? You understood? No? This, I am only interested in this, nothing else than this. See, I'll tell you, you are also marked on, like I told you, how for diagrams you're marked on 4 pointers. In the graphs also you're marked on 4 pointers. What are those 4 pointers? Let me quickly tell you those. Nobody looks that deep the way you are thinking, Bache. Okay. So first pointer is definitely, is your axis, all the two axes that you have used, are they labeled first of all? Okay, that's one point here. Second point that we always look for is the data points are correctly plotted. Okay, that is the second point here. Yep. Third point we always see is, have you used a ruler to join the data points? Okay, that is one point here. Or if it is a curve, then definitely not. Okay. So there are many students who actually plot the data points, but they don't get time or whatever. They don't join these data points. There, that one mark is lost for them. Okay. And usually you will see the fourth point will be, always on the basis of the graph, you will be asked to find a value against a new data point. You understand? So, wait, I can explain it. So basically, let's say you have a plot here. So your plot something looks like this, whatever. This is your plot. Okay, dear. Now these are your values here. You have already plotted. Yeah, and this is your y-axis. Okay. Now what they will ask you, now they will ask you a random value, let's say on the x-axis. Okay, a random value. Let's say this value is around 57. Okay, they will ask you, please find the value of the y-axis at 57 so and so, whatever the units are. So then what will you do? You will plot a dashed line. You understand a dashed line? You will plot a dashed line to your graph, from your graph to the left, towards your y-axis. Okay, it could be both ways. It could be a value given here and they're asking you the value here, or it could be the other way around. Both ways, bache. Okay, but in this case, the fourth mark usually is for this. Okay, have you shown on the graph? Have you shown these dashed line there? Have you only shown it on one side and not shown the other side? That also you will lose your mark. So you have to show the dashed line on both sides. Okay, that is usually the fourth mark. Okay, so this then you can use a circle there, or you can just use a cross. If you have used the circles already, okay, then use a cross, please. Specify that, okay? Whatever that is, specify that. Now here you see in the data table, I had no value which was corresponding to zero. So I am not extrapolating it to zero. No need. Why should I? I am just plotting my data points and starting my graph from there, bache. Understood, no? Have you understood?
Also, ma'am, what about the kink? Think?
Which kings are you talking about? The starting part?
Yeah, is it allowed or not?
It is allowed. Yeah. See, let me tell you, if you're confusing these graphs with your physics and chem, please don't do that. Physics is very different. Physics works very differently. Bio works differently. I have told you as an examiner. If your teacher must have told you other way around, maybe you can follow your teacher. But the data point is where you start your graph from. Until unless your data point has a value which is somewhere near zero, then definitely yes. Okay, zero you're plotted here, maybe you're graphed in here, or maybe both values are zero. That could also be a scenario, no? Your initial values are both are zero. Then also you can. Got
Excuse
it?
me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
What about breaking the graph?
Breaking. Why do you want to break it?
For example, in osmosis, I don't know if we're allowed or not to break the graph.
No, no, please, no, no, never. See, your graph is always there to show a trend. You cannot show trends if you're breaking the graphs in between. I've told
Okay.
you if your data points are rightly plotted, you have plotted them on the graph, please join everything together. Don't think much. You're thinking way too much. Okay, just join all of them together. Never break anything. How will we get to know the trend then? Okay, the osmosis
Yeah.
for osmosis one, I've explained it to you. Your axis might be shifted a little up and down depending on the values, like how many values are negative, how many values are positive. If is a negative change in mass, or let's say there's a percentage decrease. That okay. One thing I want to tell you, please, guys, make sure all of you make sure that you know this. Okay, this is something which is coming in almost all papers. Percentage change, percentage decrease, or percentage increase, both ways. Okay, ensure that you know the formula, ensure that you know some problems you have solved on the same. Okay, this is a thing that will definitely is going to be there in your paper, even in your structured paper, not only your ATP. I'm talking about structured. Okay, they're asking you structured also. Okay, let me just talk about few more things.
Excuse me, miss.
Yeah, yeah, tell me.
While doing the graph, how do we find a suitable scale?
Oh, that is, I think, Anaya, is that you? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so suitable skill, which I have already told you. So in your table, so you look into the values, right? So you look into the values, which is the minimum and which is the maximum. So minimum value you figure out. Let's say I'm plotting, I'm thinking of the scale of x-axis, let's say. Okay. Minimum value I noted down, maximum value I noted down, I subtract the two. Okay, I will have some value here. Okay. Now see, once your subtraction is done and then you have a value divided by 5. Okay, depends on how much area you have in the graph. Divided by 5, divided by 6, whatever you want, and then you will have a certain value. This you divide by 5. Most of the times it's 5. Okay, divide by 5 is what is this 5 now? 5 is that I am trying to have my excess divided into 5 portions, equal portions. That is divided by 5. You understand? If you want that your graph should have not 5 but 6 equal portions, then probably we can divide by 6. So you will have some value there, okay? This value. Now this value will be your number of units which you're going to take. Understood? Yeah. So this is your interval that you're going to take. Yes or no? Understood?
Yes, miss.
Yeah. So you similarly same thing you will do for y-axis also. How many parts you want? You want 7, you want 6, you want 5, you want 4. 4 is too less. 5 is the minimum I always suggest. Okay. And if you have lot of gap in the values, that's the difference is quite a lot, then you can have literally more than 5 also. You can have 7 divided by 7. Again, you will have some value. Okay. And usually, bacha, we use the the lines which are, how can I explain it to you? The lines which are little thickened. So that is where uh, we put our scale. Yeah. To avoid any kind of confusion. But here is no set rule. It's not a rule. Okay. Anyways, you can use the graph paper. Any ways you want. Okay. Yes. Any more questions there?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
ma'am. I have a question.
Hmm.
Okay, so like on the x-axis, And the y-axis, is it okay if we use different scale for each of the axis, or does it have to be like divided by the same number?
No, 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 no. You can use different also. Who said you have to
Okay.
use? No, no, no. Use different. Your values are going to be very different, right? Your x will be very different from your y. Let's say, okay, I'll give you this example only. Let's say you're in that graph which I talked about in the initial. Okay, so that x-axis, sorry, the y-axis was beats per minute, and your x-axis was time. So time is like only 1 to 10 minutes or 1 to 7 minutes. And your beats per minute started from around 70, 70 to, it was ranging up to 170, 180. You understand? So
Okay.
it can be different. Yeah, it can be different. Definitely.
Excuse me,
Okay.
ma'am. I had a
Thank you,
question.
ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, do we get penalized if we use a pen for the graph or like
Yes, my dear. Yes, yes, yes. Please, if you look into a paper, okay, let me show if I have some papers here with me, but it's very clearly written in the very start, very clearly written that please use pencil, HB pencil, something, something. They say, okay, right?
yes, ma'am.
Kindly use pencil for your graph as well as your diagram. Don't please do this blunder of using pen for diagram, okay, or pen for graph because you will not be able to erase in case you have to erase. Not even erasing, it's not allowed only.
And
Okay,
ma'am,
okay, one.
the
Hmm.
table, do you have to make it in pen or in pencil? That too in pencil only.
Pencil, please use pencil, please use pencil, please use pencil for table also. Do not use pen. Why do you want to use pen? Don't use. Even for your labelings also, you can just use pencil. Nobody says you anything. Okay, now for
Okay,
table also, please remember that your headings have to be very clear, your rows and columns. Okay, your headings
yes.
have to be clear, plus your units have to be in the heading. You people do a lot of mistakes, especially when it comes to degree Celsius. I don't know why. Degree Celsius, I don't know why. It's like we are so habitual, right? So it's like if I'm writing 2, I'll write degree Celsius here. I'll write 3 degrees Celsius. Don't write, please do not. Write degree Celsius on the top only. Okay? Okay? Don't do this. You lose your marks. And I'll tell you also, reality, if I tell you, the table also is marked on 4 parameters. One is the rows and the columns, is the first parameter. Second parameter is the headings. Third parameter is the units are in the heading. And fourth parameter is that the values, have you written it correctly? Usually the table is also 4 marks. Okay? All right. Okay, one more suggestion, guys. If you want to take it or leave it. When you are attempting your paper 4, I'll suggest you please do your ecology questions first. Okay, what are ecology questions? Usually, the last 3 questions are ecology questions. Okay, why I'm saying this? Because they eat up on a lot of time towards the end of the paper. Don't do that blunder. Do not write a lot of text. Do not start writing essays because these questions are usually essay type questions. Yeah, how to conserve, how to prevent fishing, how to do that, whatever, deforestation, pollution, blah, 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 blah. Please make sure that you write pointers, pointers, pointers. Okay. Endangered species, loss of habitat, habitat destruction, uh, food chains are affected, soil erosion. Just use these terminologies. No, why do you want to write full sentences? You're anyways going to be marked on these pointers only. These are the keywords. Okay. Please ensure your ecology questions finish up in the first 10 minutes. First 10 minutes, ecology done. Okay. Okay. Then basically 2, 3 questions will be done in that 2 questions precisely. So those are the big markers. Yeah. 6 markers, 5 markers usually they are. Then there will always be a question fine in the paper. There will always be a question which will have blanks. Lot of blanks. Okay. Will be usually of 6 to 7 marks or sometimes 8 also. Attempt this question also. Okay. I'm just telling you how to attempt the paper so that you don't lose marks just out of time. Don't do that. Okay. After that, yes, please jump onto any kind of data question or a graph question. Why I'm telling you to jump onto data and graph? Because they are usually not knowledge based. They are not checking your knowledge and understanding. They are only there because they want to check on if you can handle information. Plus, they are only there to check your scientific inquiry. Your scientific inquiry, they are 5 more minutes. Okay. Scientific inquiry. So scientific inquiry doesn't, it's not something that,
Um,
you're being judged on your processes and stuff. Okay.
Sorry,
So,
ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Just to let everyone know, only 10 minutes for the session are left. So if anybody wants to ask anything, then please ask it right now because we'll be ending the session in another 7 to 8 minutes. Okay,
Excuse
we
me,
okay.
have
ma'am.
questions in the chat also.
Okay,
Ma'am,
okay.
can I
Hello,
ask my question first?
ma'am.
Wait, bache, wait. Okay, so let me finish this data graph question done. Then please go for system questions, all the systems. And at the last, take the inheritance question. Okay, inheritance questions take time. Okay, for all the crosses and stuff, please make sure that you do it at the end. Okay, just a minute. All right, let me see the chat questions which are there. Artificial, yes, my dear, you have Bhairavi. Artificial insemination and IVF are there in your exam. Nitrification and ammonification, yes. What do you want? You were asking me the textual part of it. But this session is not to explain you the topics. We can probably have a separate session for this. Okay.
Excuse
All
me,
right.
ma'am.
Yes, tell
Um,
me.
any tips for MCQ paper, paper 2?
Okay. Where you are confused, where you are stuck, please use elimination method. Okay. And follow your instinct. That is my only suggestion. Please follow your instinct when you encounter a hard question. Okay. And let me tell you, it's always 3 to 4 hard questions only. Only 4 questions will be harder. Rest will be normal questions, moderate questions. Okay. And five, I think 15 questions will be very easy also. So don't worry about that. Okay. Examiner
Ma'am,
will, okay, let me tell first answer Archie. Bache, they never will check your blank page. Your blank pages are not checked. Blank pages are only for your help to frame your question, okay, for your keywords. Okay, you can use it, you can do your calculations, but do not use blank page for answering. Please do not do this mistake. Okay.
Ma'am, but sometimes if we write wrong answer and we cancel out, then we can write it on the blank page, right?
See, I never suggest students to do that. I never suggest students to do that. You never know. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to tell the examiner that you are not very good with that concept and you have to cut the whole thing? Let me tell you, Pinky, you will not get the time to do all of that. There is no time wherein you will cut the whole question and write it separately. The time is only as much that you can attempt each question once. Because if you're doing that, then you're losing on some other question, Victoria, for sure. All right. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Please make sure that don't
Ma'am,
do this.
what,
Yeah.
what if we what
One person at a
ma'am.
time, please. One person at a time. Victoria, you speak first.
All right, ma'am. I was wondering about the graphs, like on the x-axis and the y-axis. Where are we supposed to put the dependent variable and the independent variable?
Independent variable is always on the X and dependent on the Y.
All right, thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right.
ma'am, what if I overwrite in a structure, for example, in a question that says describe and explain? What if I overwrite till the end of the page? Will it be corrected?
You can, yeah, it will be corrected until unless you cross the margins.
Okay.
Okay.
So the
Yeah, you
margins
can overwrite.
that has the
Yeah.
barcodes and those stuff.
Yes. You can overwrite and describe. Say, it happens sometimes. It happens that we start writing and then we realize, oh my God, I was not supposed to write this. Then you can reach up to the margins. Okay, you can use the side of the margins also. Basically, the side of your text, the side part of your paper, that also you can use. But just ensure that you don't touch the edge of the paper.
Yes,
Okay,
sure.
you
Thank
have
you,
to
ma'am.
be a little like, yeah, a little maybe 5 mm before you can finish it up. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Any
for
more
table
questions?
drawing also, should it be based on independent and dependent variable?
Yes, my dear, exactly. Yes. Your columns are, what are your columns? One is independent, other is independent only.
No, but then
See,
left hand side, right hand side, is that something like that?
no. not at all.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Ma'am, one last doubt.
yeah.
Is Parkinson's disease in our syllabus or is it like cut off
No,
from the
no,
syllabus?
no, no, it's not in the syllabus. No, not at all.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, what about
Okay.
the tobacco questions?
No, not at all in the syllabus. Not in the syllabus, my dear.
Ma'am, do we have artificial insemination in IVF?
Yes, 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 yes. It's there. Okay. See,
I
that
just
is
want
why
to
I'm
ask
asking you
something
guys.
that
Yeah. Tell me.
I want to ask something that you already said about the dependent and the independent variables. Are they on the
Okay.
x or y
How do you
axis?
dis? Okay. Wait. I'll just give you a quick tip on that. Yeah. How do you decide what is dependent and independent, guys? Understand, okay? Always in your question, in investigation question, let's say it will always be some cause and effect. Okay. So let's say it will be to investigate. Okay. To investigate effect. It always will be effect of something. Let's say here it is temperature on. Okay. On the
Ma'am, your
enzyme.
screen is not visible.
Oh, sorry. Let me share. So it will always be cause and effect if there's an investigation. Okay. Now, in that cause and effect, how do you figure out? So, to investigate the effect of enzyme on the particular enzyme activity, okay, on the rate of reaction or whatever. So now, how do you figure out what is independent and what is dependent variable? Always remember what comes before the on. Okay, I'm just giving you a very simple tip. Whatever comes before the on will be your independent. Okay, and whatever comes after the on, which is this, is your dependent. You will never be confused. Okay, look for this on in the sentence. Understood? Once you get to know what is your dependent variable, then you can just proceed. And the first thing first that you need to do, my dear, in investigation question is please write it down there and then on the paper on the answer sheet. Write down the independent variable like this. Okay, write it down and write the dependent variable. Okay, like this, and write the control variable also. Okay, if you write even these three and you don't write the steps, you still get 3 marks. That is quite good. You understand? Even if you don't write the steps, because steps is another mark. So first 3 marks are only for identifying the variables correctly. Understood? And then we have 1 mark for the steps, 1 or 2 marks, depends how much is total. And then one last step is always 1 mark is always for the safety precaution. Okay? So only by identifying independent variable and control variable, you can get 3 marks out of maybe 7 or 6 or 8, whatever that score is. Okay, dear?
Yeah, thank you,
Yes?
Miss.
Yeah. Always
Yep.
look for that cause and effect. Who is causing what? Okay. All right. Any more questions?
I think we can. I think that's. Thank you so
Okay.
much, ma'am, for taking the session. The session was really good, and I think
Thank you, Pranay.
everybody, yeah, everybody, were really able to catch up with the explanation and everything, and they were also able to clear the doubts, and the tips were
Mhm.
also very good. So thank you so much, ma'am, for
Thank you,
conducting
Pranay,
this.
for arranging this, and thank you all the students for taking your time out. And I hope you have good attempt at your papers.
All the best, everyone. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.